My dead husband got a girlfriend. Let's talk about it. So just a little something about me and him, right? So we from New Orleans, right? And he decided to join the military in 2018. We got married August 2019, and my husband died December 2020. So in October 2020, we decided to go back home to go see family and stuff. He told me that his people wanted to talk to him. By his people, his daddy and his stepmama. So he went over there, and I was with my people, right? Fast forward, we on our way back to Kentucky, where he was stationed at. And so I decided to ask him, I'm like, how did it go with your people? What y'all talked about. He said, oh, they asked me, knowing what I know now, would I have still gotten married? I said, oh, what you said? I told him no. In my mind, I'm like, you told him no? Like, the fuck you mean? But on the outside, I think I was more like shook because I didn't know he felt like this. Like, I'm thinking we good. You wanted to get married. I tried to tell us like, wait, let's not do this so fast. But you wanted to get married. So we did it because that's what you wanted to do. And now you regretting getting married? So the relationship I have with his parents is very non-existent. I don't think they ever liked me, and that's another story for another day. So we make it to the house, and it was kind of quiet for like a few days. Like, we really wasn't talking to each other because how dare you? You know what I'm saying? Like, getting married is what you wanted to do. I just couldn't talk to him. I really ain't have nothing to say to him. So he woke up one day and was just like, I don't want to do this no more. Do what? Do what? This marriage? Mind you, we've been together for 8 years, y'all. We was together for 8 years. So what you mean y'all won't do this no more? We married. We signed papers. Like, what? So we ended up getting into like this big argument, and he took everything out the house and left. The only thing that he left at the house was my clothes. He took all the TVs but one TV, and he tried to take the dogs, but I wasn't having it because you're not about to take my dogs. If you want to leave, you can leave, but you're not about to take my dogs. And I was fighting for my marriage. Like, I was fighting. I remember crying like 2 weeks straight. I couldn't. Because I just didn't understand. Like, you had a conversation with your people and now you don't want to do this no more. Like what's going on? Like, talk to me. But he did not want to talk to me. He didn't want to tell me nothing. So, boom. Thanksgiving is approaching. I'm like, so are we going to spend time for Thanksgiving? He like, no, when I tell you my husband abandoned me, he abandoned me and he abandoned our marriage. I remember asking him, like, we made a vow before God. So, like, we supposed to be doing this. Like, why don't you want to do this? Like, we made a vow before God. And all he said was, that's something me and God got to talk about. Okay, come December 8th, my husband died. And he was at work. My husband was a mechanic in the military. And, yeah. So when the incident happened, they kept his belongings that he had with him. And obviously they kept him. My husband died like on a Wednesday. His autopsy was on that Friday. And so after the autopsy, the military brought me everything that was on his body. So like his car keys, his ID, his phone, all that. So I turned the phone on. I charged the phone, turned it on. He changed the password, so I couldn't even get in the phone. But there was this number that was calling and texting him like crazy. So I decided to call the number off my phone. And child, she answered the phone. She answered the phone. So I'm like, hello. She said hello. I'm like, do you know Gary? She was like, yeah. I said, what he is to you? She said, his girlfriend. Okay, part two. I ain't gonna have y'all waiting on the story. I hate when motherfuckers be having me waiting on the story time. So I ain't gonna have y'all waiting. So yeah, she said I'm his girlfriend. I said, how long y'all been together? She said 2 months. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, 2 months ago was October. October, that's when he decided to have a conversation with his people. Oh, so that's when you probably wanted of what you probably met this chick on a dating site. And I say dating site because he never left my side. Where he go, I go. Where I go, he went. Unless he went to work. I was, work or PT. Other than that, we're together. So that means he was on dating sites. And the thing that got me was the fact that if somebody called, he'd be like, babe, answer that for me. Or babe, who texted me? Or babe, I had no clue. Y'all, I had no fucking clue. So I said, okay, um, you know he was married? She was like, yeah, he told me. I said, oh, he told you. She was like, yeah, he told me that you live in California. I said, no, I don't live in California. I live in a house that me and him have together. That's where I live. I'm in Kentucky. And so she was like, oh, I'm a woman first. I would never. So I let her go on about the spill. But me, I feel like if you was a woman first, you wouldn't dare mess with a married man. I don't care if he told you that he getting divorced tomorrow. Okay, when you sign them papers, you let me know. Like, I don't want to hear about you being a woman because, bitch, as a woman, you know how it feels, right? To be cheated on, right? You may not know how it feels to be married. I don't know your situation, whether you was married or not. You probably don't know how it feels to be married. But you know how it feels to get cheated on, right? So if you was a woman first, why would you mess with a married man? He told you he was married. Niggas lie all the time. Like, so after she went on her little spill about how she a woman first and she would never and blah 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 bullshit to me. I was like, so did y'all kiss? She was like, no. Did y'all have sex? She was like, no. I don't believe her. So I told her, I said, well, I just want to let you know that your boyfriend is dead. And she was just like, I'm so sorry for your loss. I am so sorry for your loss. When did this happen? I said Wednesday. Are you sure? I'm his fucking wife. Why the fuck wouldn't I be sure? What? But I kept my composure with this lady because one, I just wasn't in the right mind. That's one. Number two, I have a right to be upset with you because you knew he was married. You know what I'm saying? But she don't owe me no loyalty. My issue is with him, right? Is with him. So, you know what I did? After I talked to her, I got off the phone with her and I decided to call his people. I called his people. And I wanted to know if you knew that your son was cheating on me. You know what the fuck his stepmama told me? This lady gonna tell me I'ma bury my son with dignity. That's not what I called you for. I don't care if you bury your son with dignity. I don't care if you don't bury. I don't give a fuck. What I want to know is, did you know that he was cheating on me? She refused to answer that question, so it leads me to believe that she knew what the fuck was going on. That's why. So on my side of the family, it ain't nothing like that, right? It's nothing like that. If you wrong, you wrong. If you right, you right. When we got married, my aunties told us to seek wise counsel when things go wrong. You go to a married couple that could give you advice, somebody with a successful marriage. So when he decided to leave, I called his people trying to talk to them like, okay, well, like, what do I need to do? They didn't want to talk to me. His daddy told me, you need to talk to him. I'm like, but he doesn't want to talk to me. So I'm just like, you're the closest thing to him. So I'm just asking, like, I'm just trying to seek wise counsel. He didn't want to tell me shit. And his stepmom didn't want to tell me shit, but she want to bury her son with dignity. All right, bury your son with dignity, bitch. Bury your son with dignity, then. Child, I think I was more shook than anything. So, like with my grieving process, it was different. So my husband passed in 2020. I lost my mama in 2018. So it's very different. Losing a mama is different than losing your spouse. And then with my situation is I had already grieved my husband because I had to grieve my marriage because he left me. He up and left. So for 3 months I was already grieving that I didn't have a husband. It's different that he died, and now that he's dead, the information that I found out, because because his best friend called me one day and told me that he found out that my husband fucked on his ex-wife. That is another story for another day. You want to bury your son with dignity when he fucked over everybody that was in his fucking circle? Y'all should have seen that funeral. Only 2 people that claimed to be his friend came to the funeral, and only one battle buddy. Nobody really came to his funeral. Your son was cutthroat as fuck. Since you want to bury him with dignity, and he put his hands on me. So bury your fucking son with dignity. He ain't buried though, he cremated. Y'all, but the whole thing with his people is fucked up. That's another story time. That child, but yeah, that's what happened. My dead husband has a girlfriend. So I wanted to make a video to answer your question. So yeah, I'm straight. I'm okay. And I wasn't able to tell his people not to come because when it came down to the paperwork, the life insurance, and I forget what the other part of it called, but you get like a budget. They cut you a check to plan the funeral, right? And it's a good amount. It's a good amount that they cut you to plan the funeral. His family or his dad got that. So his dad was over the funeral because I had just lost my mom. My mom was only there for like a year. So I told him to let his dad plan the funeral, not knowing that they were gonna fuck over me the whole time. I'm like, let your dad do it because mentally I don't think I'll be able to do it. Looking back on it, I would have been able to do it because I didn't know I was gonna be grieving my husband before he even died. But yeah, that process was like hell. I remember I moved back down here in New Orleans, but I came earlier because the funeral was like on the 19th, and I had to be back out here on a day to retrieve his body. So I was gonna go with his dad and his stepmama to retrieve the body. So that day I wanted to know if we were gonna be able to do an open casket because retrieving a body, I wanted to see my husband. I didn't get to see him. And I was told that his injuries, where the injury is at, I forgot the name of the hat they wear, but his hat would cover the injury on his head, right? So I would be able to see his face. So I want to know if the casket be open. So I asked her, and she was like, well, from what she said, dang, I asked her, did they decide on having an open casket or not? And she was like, we haven't decided that yet. I have to have somebody to look at him. I said, oh, well, the person on my end that seen him said that he's fine, like his face is okay. She said, well, that's not what I heard. I said, well, what did you hear? She said, why? I'm like, because I want to know, like, what did you hear? You want to hear that he's deformed? You want to hear that he has his head is wide open? Like, she was being so gruesome and so evil when she was talking to me. And I'm like, is that what they told you? I want to know what they said. I want to know the truth. Is that what they said? Did they say that they recommend a casket being closed because of how gruesome he looked? Like, is that what they said? Is that what you want to hear? Is that what you want to hear? And I just hung up in her face. I sat in my car for 2 hours and I cried the whole time until they retrieved the body. So I was at the funeral home waiting to meet them to go retrieve the body. But they didn't come to the funeral home. I think they know that I'm lying. I think they did, but I didn't go because I was in the car crying the whole time. His stepmama is a bitch. She is rude and she is insensitive. And you doing all that and that's not even your son. Deuce didn't even like her. Didn't like her. And as far as the cremation part goes, if it was me, if I was over the funeral and I cremated my husband, I would have divided him in half and sent half to his family, and I would have kept the other half. When it came down to that part, they gave me this tiny ass necklace, and honestly, in my heart, I believe if I was to open this necklace, nothing is gonna be in there. That's how fucked up those people are. If I was to open that necklace, I don't think nothing would be in there. I don't think ashes is in that necklace. If I'm being honest, I don't think nothing is in there. They wanted to divide. I didn't even get. They wanted to divide his ashes to his family that he never was in contact with. Never talked about his sisters, his brothers, talking about the stepmama children. Because on his daddy's side, he only has one sister, and I know about that sister. He was divided up with family that some of them didn't even come to the funeral, and people that he never even talked to. When my husband didn't have a job and he was on his ass, I was there. None of them people helped him out with shit. Nobody wanted nothing to do with him until he joined the military. But that girl, let me get on off this. Girl, yes. Like, and let me tell you something else. After all that had happened, he died, talked to his girlfriend and everything. I remember I called my auntie and I was crying for her because I'm like, I prayed for my marriage. I was praying for my marriage. I was praying for my husband. And God did not listen to me. And she was like, Janae, that man decided he wasn't your husband a long time ago. So that husband you was praying for and that marriage you was praying for wasn't him. And it wasn't this. You're praying and you're preparing for your next one. I said, ooh, shit. Shit. And she asked me, if he was still alive today, would you still been trying to make that marriage work? And I definitely would have. Even knowing that he had a girlfriend, call me stupid. I don't care, y'all. I was with that man for almost a decade. I probably still would have been trying to make my marriage work. And I'm not saying this is why he died. I'm not saying this is how it should have went. It was supposed to go. I'm not saying none of that. What I am saying is God knew that there was nothing this man could have done to make me leave, because I've been through a lot with this man. A lot. He started to get touchy. I'm talking about, like, he body slammed me at one point. He bust my lip at one point. And I probably would have still been trying to make it work at that time. Now it's different. It's different now. But at that time, when me and my auntie had that conversation, that was my answer then. But now, fuck no. I would have fought his ass back. But yeah, God had to take him out of my life because I wasn't strong enough to leave on my own. So I work in mysterious ways. But I am very much preparing for my next, because my next will be my forever. Okay. If I'm being honest with you, I honestly don't really know why they didn't like me, because we never really sat in a room together that often for them to form an opinion on me. And he never lived with them. He was living with his grandma. So he didn't move with his dad until I moved to California. But after everything, the only thing I could gather is maybe he was talking shit about me to them. And I say that because when my husband died and after the investigations and everything had came out and they gave me all the reports to the investigation and the interviews they had with people, everybody knew that he was unhappy but me. Because he would come home and we would have dinner like normal, talk like normal, everything would be normal. Of course, like, we had our ups and downs, but everybody knew he was unhappy in his marriage but me. I didn't know until he woke up and told me he wanted a divorce. I didn't know until we went to New Orleans in October to go visit our family. That's when I gathered that he was unhappy. Before then, we would still go out. We would go on dates. We had just celebrated our anniversary. So I think that he was just talking shit about me. And how else I know he was too? It was because one day he had got like a little write-up or whatever because he was late to PT. And on the paper, that nigga blamed me for him being late. Listen, PT was 6 o'clock in the morning. I am sleep. Okay? I'm sleep. 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't got no reason to be up. I don't. I have no reason to be up at that time. But you blame me for you being late. And I'm asleep. And I remember asking him, I'm like, why would you say that? He was like, you my wife. You supposed to take the fall for me. No, the fuck I ain't. No. You a grown-ass man. Take the fall for your fucking self. Don't blame me for for your wrongdoings because you're gonna get in trouble, thinking they gonna cut you some slack because of me. Everybody, even like everybody in his like at his job for the memorial, some people barely came up to me and talked to me, and I didn't understand why. Like, why everybody treating me like I'm not his wife or something. And it was because when I got all the reports, everybody was like, yeah, nah, he wanted out of his marriage. He wanted this. That nigga is a bald faced fucking lie. Them people was talking about he light up the room when he walks in, which he did. He had a great personality, but that motherfucker was two-faced. He was talking shit behind me, about me, behind my motherfucking back. I think that's why his parents didn't like me, and that's why nobody at his job likes me, because he was talking shit about me and not to me. No, girl, and thank God we didn't have no kids. So the whole time I was with him, I was with him for 8 years, right? And never got pregnant. Never got pregnant. So I started going to the doctor, and they told me that I wasn't able to get pregnant. Why? After he died, I started to move on with my life. I got pregnant twice. I lost both of them. But I got pregnant twice after my husband. And I was mad at God, because why would you give me children and take it away? What I came up with was God wanted to show me that it's possible that I could get pregnant, but right now is not the time. I will do another story time about that shit, because baby. But yeah, no, thank God we don't have no kids. So it wasn't per se easier. So keep in mind that when he decided to up and leave, that's when I started grieving, because he left me. I was already grieving the fact that my marriage was over and my husband didn't want to be with me. So by the time he died and everything came out about him having a girlfriend and him having sex with his best friend's ex-wife, I got into a weird place, because I'm trying to understand, how do I love this man so much and hate him at the same time? How can I love somebody as much as I do and he could do this to me? I was kind of like mad at myself for loving a man so much that treated me like shit, you know? So I was more angry than sad. I was hurt and confused because I had no clue. I had no fucking clue. And it was harder because I couldn't confront him. I couldn't ask him why he did it. What did I do? Like, I couldn't ask him no questions. So that was hard too. I had to accept what happened and move on. Because who I was going to talk to about it? The person is dead, so.
Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching my channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.